when I hit the lowest, a friend of mine came by the house and he saw my face. He saw what I was going through. And I was actually seeing a therapist, a psychiatrist, taking antidepressants, and I was drinking a lot. He saw what I looked like. He's an old friend of mine, and he came in. I said, "I got this," and he's like, "No, you don't. Let it go." What do you mean, let it go? Give it to God. You can't do this on your own. And for the first time ever, I took an advice of somebody, and I just said, "All right, I let it go. I give it to you, God." And what happened from then, it was just pretty miraculous.
Hello, friends. Welcome to the Christ and Coffee podcast. Today we have a special episode. We're on 150 episodes. That's 150. And it's all thanks to you, dear listener. Thank you for tuning in each week. It's because of you listening that I keep recording these wonderful Christ-centered conversations. I get to meet really cool people in the process. And today I get to meet one of my childhood heroes, Howard Quiggly Chang, who was the main artist behind the Ninja Turtle action figures of the 80s and 90s. That's right, those iconic action figures. This was the main designer behind so many of those Ninja Turtle toys. Howard will share his powerful testimony and how he came to faith later in life. He came to faith in a crisis moment, and now God has used his testimony, his past artistic expertise, his business expertise, and have brought him to this new Christian toy line called Ancientz. Ancientz is a new faith-based franchise of spirit-fueled robotic heroes inspired by the legends of Hebrews 11. You could check them out on their Kickstarter page. That's Ancientz with a Z. I will provide links below. And this leads us to our verse of the week, which is found from Hebrews 11, verses 1 to 2. Now, faith is the confidence in what we hope for and the assurance about what we do not see. This is what the ancients were commended for. With that said, please grab a warm or ice cup of coffee, enjoy it, enjoy this Christ-centered conversation, and thank you for bringing us to 150 Christ-centered conversations. God bless you and enjoy. All right, Howard, welcome to the Christ and Coffee podcast. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing good. Thank you.
You just got back from Comic-Con? How was that?
Yeah, Comic-Con, it's a long show, especially long for the exhibitors like us. I've been going to Comic-Con for many years. First year I've been was in 1994. I was a Ninja Turtle toy concept artist, designed hundreds of toys there. But the last few years I've been going to just sign my Ninja Turtle books, my sketchbook for fans. And this year, my old boss, Steve Varner of Varner Studios, he's getting older. He is 74 years old. He didn't want to do it anymore, and we found it as an opportunity to take over, make it our booth for this new project that I'll share later today, which is really biblical and something that we're very, very looking forward to. And it started on Wednesday. I didn't get sleep for several days before leading up to it. We took all of our family, our kids, a boyfriend and a girlfriend to help out, but of course we did most of the work.
Yeah.
But it was hard. I think Comic-Con is one of the hardest shows you can do. Wednesday night, so literally 5 days of meeting lots of people, and show hours were 9 to 7 p.m. every day.
Amazing.
We just got back yesterday, and we're kind of decompressing.
Yeah. Well, welcome back, and congrats on a successful Comic-Con. We ask all our guests this question. It's very theologically loaded. How do you drink your coffee, if you drink coffee?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, I don't survive without coffee, but for the last couple of years, my wife has this Nespresso machine, and we take that Nespresso. It's pretty strong, wakes you up. And I follow it up with a more gentle but very sweetened coffee, and just once, maybe twice a day. and I'm
Yeah,
good.
that's great. Yeah, I don't like drinking coffee after like lunch hours because then it affects sleep. But I like to drink as much as possible beforehand. But that's
Right.
great. Then the Nespresso is great. Let's talk about your upbringing. What were the toys that shaped you? What were your favorite toys growing up?
Oh, wow. Well, I'm a little older, so growing up, there were tons. People, listeners who probably don't know, like Hanna Barbera. There was all these little toys back then, but the ones that really impacted me. I don't know if you guys know of a show called Battle of the Planets back then, Majinga. But the ones I really, with my hand, enjoyed were Robotech.
Okay.
Um, and that's what I remember the most. Robotech was very the big ones, and I used to make a lot of toys. Those models, they were called Gundam series. I used
Yeah.
to I made done tons of those models back then.
Yeah, I do like the Bandai Pokemon models with my 5-year-old, and he loves it. Yeah, he's a huge fan of those things. Yeah, that's great. And then how did you get interested to make your own toys? So it started with Gundam, and then you just decided to be just an artist, or what led you to start in your career?
Well, I have some time on this show to speak about it. I have a 30-second pitch, but I have a longer pitch. I'll use the longer one. I wasn't really a toy guy, but I was always able to draw. So people always asked me to draw things and that. And when I graduated high school, um, had a job lined up for me at Blockbuster Video. It was one of those stores where you go buy video, VHS tapes, and you rent it and you return it. So I was ready to work there before starting my first year at Cal State Long Beach. And I was going to study graphic design or industrial design over there. So the summer started, and suddenly my mom saw an ad on the paper for a toy sculptor. I didn't really sculpt, but I thought I'd give it a try. It was on the Daily Breeze. So I got some clay, water clay, which dries really fast and changes shape. I made a Batman. I took a bunch of my drawings, went to the interview, and it wasn't the best sculpture, but they loved me. They decided to hire me on the spot. So I went in as a mold maker for the first 3 weeks, and suddenly Playmates Toys, that was 1989, the year after the first four Ninja Turtles hit the market, and they were blowing up, and they couldn't keep the toys in the stores. They couldn't keep up. So a year after that, I joined the team as a mold maker, and suddenly Playmates Toys asked, "Hey, can anyone help with this one sketch?" They were looking for the Mech Fugitoid to be designed so they can get it approved. It was like late at night, not late at night, maybe 5 or 6 p.m. They asked me to maybe draw one up. I did it really quick. I gave it to them. I left for home. They faxed it. And the next morning I came to work. They didn't have my cubicle anymore. And they're like, "What happened? Am I getting fired?" They're like, "No, you have your own office. From now on, all you're doing is designing toys." I go, "Wow, okay." So I spent that time, I stayed there for the whole summer. They hated it when I told them I got to start college, but I went back during winter to get some work. And ever since then, for 8 years, I designed hundreds of Ninja Turtles, Star Trek toys, Happy Meal toys, Flash Gordon, did a lot of work with all these other brands.
Amazing.
Uh,
Yeah, my wife went to Cal State Long Beach. That's great.
oh, wow.
Undergrad. Yeah, so this is like a dream job then, or were you just shocked
You
how it
know,
just
I,
fell
I
in your
didn't
lap, or you just were just this is like normal, like you just get a job like this?
No, like I said, I was looking for to work. I was looking forward to working at a Blockbuster Video for the summer. Right?
Yeah,
It just fell onto me. God's will. I'm there. I didn't expect it. My mom found an ad in the newspaper, and I just ended up doing that. And I realized it was a dream job because when I was going to school and going to classes, people knew I was just going to work, and they found out I was a toy designer. And that's the job all these artists wanted after they graduate.
yeah, yeah.
And I had it, and apparently I excelled at the workplace. My bosses loved me, and I'm still good friends with the bosses.
That's even
35,
better. Yeah.
almost 40 years later, 37 years later, I'm hanging out with Steve Arner and Eddie Mosqueda, even the guys at Playmates Toys. I still communicate with them.
That's wonderful. Yeah, I have fond memories with my mom after she would pick me up from kindergarten. Like we would like have a ritual on the Friday after the school week was over. She would like take me to Burger King. I get a Whopper Junior, would go to Toys R Us, and I would get to pick out a Ninja Turtle toy.
What was your favorite Ninja Turtle toy?
Um, there's so many. I think I like just the more classic.
The
I was
main
definitely a Leonardo fan. So I always remember like the just getting all the machines, the truck, the blip,
right.
kind of like the whole shabam. And I just remember like just not too long ago going to a Walmart with my son and we bought Ninja Turtle toys and they had the like match and mix kind of toy.
Yeah.
I do remember the big Ninja Turtle that was like if it was like a giant turtle. I don't know if you remember that one. It was like
It opens up.
it opens up. I
I
also
have,
remember the pizza shooter Ninja Turtle.
right, right. A lot of them
And then
came
you
from us.
and then you had all the like sports Ninja Turtles and like different occupations. It was kind of like Barbie, right? Like you're just like, all right, we're gonna have samurai Ninja Turtles. Yeah.
The reason I was asking is perhaps that would have been the one I did because I did perhaps most of the sports ones. The most famous one was the basketball turtle with the 23 on it. It was red, and then and then I just put the 23 because I liked
Jordan. Yeah.
person. I don't want to say names,
It's
but
not LeBron James, but okay.
yeah. And then they ended up producing it, and then later on they wanted to blame me for it. I'm like, hey, I just drew it. You produced it.
Got it. Got it. Great. So I also found out recently that Ninja Turtles is like a spoof off of Daredevil. That was a recent discovery about how like the hand is like the foot and like Master Splinter is um there's a lot of parody. I recently learned about all that. But
That's news to me.
yeah. I was just shocked to hear. So what was your favorite in this era of your career? What was your favorite design? Was it that you did? Anything?
Well, there's, I always loved robots, right? I mean, like I
Yeah.
told you, and a lot of the best designs I did has it's like robot references. Like Future
Got it.
Total was my first one. I don't know if you know Stan Sakai. He's a famous artist. He has this character called Usagi Yojimbo, Japanese man. I did the space Usagi. Basically, I got Usagi Yojimbo. It dressed him up into tech and robotic parts to his body. And yeah, I did. I worked on the samurai turtle, like what you talked about, and some mech turtles. But my favorite one I worked on, if you check my Instagram one day, is Quiggly with two G's, ly .daze.com. You'll see it's way down there, but it's the Navy SEAL turtle. I had a lot of fun working on that. And
Fascinating. Which one was the Navy SEAL? Like the
Michelangelo, Navy SEAL. I don't know. There's so many names to him,
yeah,
but
yeah, yeah.
he's a turtle as a Navy SEAL. He's got all kinds of like.
I mean, it makes sense because he could swim. He's a turtle. Like they yeah. I mean, so it's a good. Yeah, reptilian exactly. Amazing. And then after, did you take a break after a while doing this, or
I did.
you just said enough, or you just wanted to do something new, or
there was a time I remember, like 7 years into designing Ninja Turtles, finishing school. I didn't take one vacation.
yeah,
At that age, it was just work, 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 and I enjoyed work. But as an artist, when you draw so much, you don't end up enjoying it anymore. You're drawing things for other people. And I remember it was 96 or 95 around there. I came home and some of my friends were like, hey, can you draw something for me? I'm like, no, you pay me. I'm not going to draw anymore for fun.
yeah.
So, and then I really felt that there wasn't a bright future. And I went into jumping into getting to business. There's another story where I launched about 24 businesses in my life.
Oh wow,
legitimate, going out and there's an idea, I get partners or partner, and then I set up a bank account, do everything. And a couple of them did well, but business is business. 90% chance you're not going to succeed in that. So
wow.
I got into business. I even went into I became a programmer for 6, 7 years, doing SQL Server, Transact SQL, and C# programming for various things and marketing. That was decades of that.
Amazing. What was your favorite business that you like to do, or?
Well, we developed an app. It was an online app. It was our biggest competitor. Competitor was Shopify. It was called Uptillo with my best friend then, Ed. He was a genius programmer, and he and I got together and decided to create a shopping e-commerce experience where people can subscribe, and then you can easily upload products. And back then it was when was that? Like almost 20 years ago, 16 years ago or so.
Yeah, I mean, this is revolutionary at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were doing trade shows. We had a lot of people on board. Our platform was working well. But when you type Uptillo, that was our company name, on Google, Shopify was doing some acts against us. When you type Uptillo, they say, "Why Uptillo? Go with Shopify." It was kind of mean, but
Cutthroat,
people are
yeah.
better. And then I manufactured headwear for about 5 years, and it was great. We went from nothing to $12 billion in 5 years in sales. So that was my MBA. I learned a lot about business and programming during these years.
Amazing. Amazing. And it seems like you're going to bring the business skill and your art skill together with this latest project. But before we jump into Ancientz, I do want to ask this question. When did Jesus become more than a name to you?
Growing up, Jesus was always around. I I was raised in a family where we didn't really know the power of prayer. Um, Being immigrants here from Korea, my parents going to church was more of a social thing. So we were
Hmm.
kind of involved, but never really involved. So the whole idea of going to church was, quote unquote, being good. You go to church and you did something good, right?
Right.
But there
Yeah.
was never a true relationship where you depend or you trust in the name of Jesus, right? So when it became powerful in my life was 12 years ago. I was going through 13 years now. I was going through a divorce. And I would go to church once in a while, and stick my head in, say hello. There was a community. But to be honest, I truly, powerfully encountered God. And that was 13 years ago while going through, back then, the lowest point in my life, going through a divorce, having 3 kids. So life changed since then.
What was the moment like? Was it just I can't do this, or Jesus
No,
just?
I mean, just to the whole idea of going through a divorce is it hurts and it's painful and it's draining, and you're worrying about your kids, your finances, what's going to happen. Um, that's what caused Uptillo, my e-commerce business, to stop. I literally just stood up and left. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm going to go back and take care of myself. And that was 13 years ago. And when I hit the lowest, a friend of mine came by the house and he saw my face. He saw what I was going through. And I was actually seeing a therapist, a psychiatrist, taking antidepressants, and I was drinking a lot. He saw what I looked like. He's an old friend of mine, and he came in. I said, "I got this," and he's like, "No, you don't. Let it go." What do you mean, let it go? Give it to God. You can't do this on your own. And for the first time ever, I took an advice of somebody, and I just said, "All right, I let it go. I give it to you, God." And what happened from then, it was just pretty miraculous. And I started going to a church called Southland down in Anaheim. It's an Asian American church and an Asian American pastor, but it's not an Asian church. There's a mixed crowd. But going to one of their camps, for the first time ever, I gave up everything because I knew I couldn't handle it anymore. I lifted up. I figured out what that meant, lifting up to the Lord. Hey, I can't do this. It's too heavy for me. and I felt the weight just come off, and I felt peace for the first time.
Amazing. And how has your perception on everything the past 13 years been since that moment?
Oh man, imagine having a CEO who created the universe, and having a friend and a partner who's always by your side. And there's, even when you go through hard times, there is hope, right? And then when you don't have him, I can't imagine what people can do, like self-harm, perhaps even suicide, when there's nowhere to turn. I always have a place to turn. And the word joy comes to mind. Fail or succeed, joy is always there. And I'm full of joy. It's been an amazing journey for the last 13, 12 years.
Amazing. And how did this Ancient project, you were like, all right, I got all this business skills, I got the art skills, and what led to this new project?
Okay, I've been waiting for this. All right, here it is. About a little over 2 years ago, I met my current wife. We just got married a little over 6 months ago, I would say.
Congratulations.
Thank you. She's just an amazing woman. Somehow God put us together. And ever since the day we met, she's one of those people in my life that we can just talk about everything. She's also very, very refined in her business acumen. She was part of large corporations. She was leading a whole marketing group for a company called Nexon, which is a $20 billion video game company, right? That's like right next to Roblox to compare. And very knowledgeable in this. And in the beginning, early stages of our relationship, I opened up and shared this idea that I had, which I firmly believe God put into me during prayer. And how Ancientz came about was during that time of my low point of divorce, and when I was experiencing God. It was during Christmas. I looked at the Christmas tree and I go, wow, how come there was no toys that I can get for my kids that's Christian inspired or biblical based? I looked it up online, and the only thing I can find was like the latter end of VeggieTales, which I can make myself. I can get a cucumber, put some eyes on it.
Yeah.
I'm not mocking it. Hey, God bless VeggieTales. You guys did great.
No, I've always criticized VeggieTales, and then the founder said this was probably a bad idea.
No, but hey, God was there.
I know.
VeggieTales, and they got worldwide recognition, right? I respect. I wish I can be like you one day, but my point was, I'm a Ninja Turtle artist. I go, hey, listen, what can I get for my kids? And the only thing I saw was a toy of David and Goliath. They were wearing their robes, like a tunic, and they had a sword. If I bought those for my kids, they would cry. They want Pokemon. They want something cool, pop culture. And they would not talk to me again if I bought them the toys.
Right.
And then suddenly I go, gosh, that's a huge void in the toy world where we can do. It's supposed to be celebrating Christ's birthday, and everything you buy is secular. Any gift you can buy that's cool is secular, right? So there I was thinking about it, and I kept dreaming up these ideas, and it was an opportunity to come out with something I love to do. Number one, I was pretty good at designing the toys. I have a lot of fans, right? And I love robots. So Ancientz is, if you can imagine, Robotech meets Pokemon. I imagine that together, right? It's not Gundam with the small heads and the wings everywhere, looking radical. This is like Ninja Turtle cute, big heads. The idea is there's a technology of imagine an orb that glows with glowing strands attached to it like an octopus or a squid, but it's manifesting spirits. So the spirit of David, Goliath, Joshua, Deborah, everyone you can imagine in the Bible can be manifested into this orb. And the orb runs the robots. And the audience, if this is a podcast, they probably can't see it, but
No, that's visual.
if you see here, you can see this is
That's
the
the orb.
orb. It goes
Wow.
in, it lights up. And what I would love to do one day is to have it light up, and if you put your phone to it, you can see. We're going to open a portal where you can see the scripture of where they come from, a big model of them and everything. And if we own that media later, we can add anything we want, update it, throw in a movie, links, or what have you. And maybe if the Bible app, shout out to Bible app I use every day. If they can partner with us, we can have them, show the Bible verses. So that was the idea, and it was 12 years in the making. And it was Gloria that told me, you got to do it. And it's a big leap of faith, to be honest, to do something like this, because just to have a toy company, you need to have $1 billion, and it won't guarantee you that it's going to succeed. So we're starting off with figurine collectibles, something a little bit more manageable, where we can find a manufacturer. You don't have to have mass numbers, or you don't have to have a relationship with, well, Toys R Us is no longer available, Walmart, Target, what have you. So we can actually sell it on our own website. We can have a few distributors here and there. So we have many different types. We want to also sell these small mini Ancientz versions of each of them. So you saw the David. Here's the mini version of David, much cuter, 3-inch. At Comic-Con, people love this even more because it could be like a Labubu killer, right?
Yeah.
Have a keychain and see the lights light up.
Very cool.
So it's a baby version of the main figurine collectibles. So we're taking a leap of faith, and here we are 12 years after the idea was conceptualized. And my old boss, Steve Varner, people just loved it at the show. And we're hoping to get love and support and prayers for a Kickstarter to get to a point where we can get these things manufactured and to the world as fast as possible. We want to be the next Pokemon, maybe,
Yeah, why not? Why not? Yeah, I think there was like these demon dolls that got really popular. It's kind of like the opposite of what you're trying to do.
Labubu is a multi-billion-dollar brand that became a multi-billion dollars in less than a year.
Yeah.
So it's everybody has it. It's out of Nordic folklore. So this is all biblical. And I don't know how many characters you can build out of the Bible, but we have Samson, Delilah. I mean, we have lots of ideas. When we get into the New Testament later, and the characters might look different, and we're very excited about this.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it'll be a great way to teach and have fun. And I think there's this beautiful theology of, we're made in the creator's image and we're supposed to create and I'll tell stories. And this is like a dual action of throwback to the most important stories of history in the Bible, and also giving an opportunity for fun in the process. And I think Christians need to have more fun, and this is a great way for kids to have fun, adults to have fun, and we need to be in every industry. And like you said, I'm trying to think of what would be a Christian gift that's not cheesy or not like, not like a plaque or some sentimental stuff. Yeah, like
porcelain dolls or what have you. But look, we're pricing it perfect for the white elephant gift. Right?
Oh yeah.
And then we're trying to get there. We're looking for industry manufacturers that can get it done for us, the quantities and all that. So yeah.
So like in like the Ninja Turtles, were they like there was a comic book, right? So then they made the toys, but was like the TV show to promote the toys?
Yeah.
Is that like is that the dark web of my childhood? It's like all these TV shows that are telling stories were just for me to like.
I don't want to like. I don't know what I can disclose on public. I don't know how many listeners you're gonna have, but yeah, that's marketing, man. I mean, it was Eastman and Laird, right? Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird. They came out with this amazing concept in Maine. There were just two guys out of their home creating a comic book. They sold a lot, like 60,000 copies, but it's not a lot if you look at the world, right? But it did well, and Playmate Stories got it's all documented in The Toys That Made Us, season 3 on Netflix. But when they got the toys, whenever Playmates has a new toy idea or get a license, first thing they do is let's get the animation going, and that's a huge marketing push. So a lot of the licenses out there, a lot of the new lines, if you look at Marvel, you look at DC, it's all about the comic books, the movies, the stories that push the toys, right? But there's a huge shift if you look at today. People come out with the characters, and they build a story around it. Like we just talked about Labubu. There was no story behind it. But it was, or even Hello Kitty is a long time ago. I didn't see a lot of stories, but the character came out first, and they built stories around it. And I feel like this is what we're doing here. Our characters, Ancientz characters, has a story built in. This is David. His story, his personality is in the Bible, but now he has a story to tell now in today. The setting is probably in the near future. Again, these are robots, and
I mean, the robots are here.
this would be a battle between good and evil. This is the new technology of the orb and the strands that control the robots. And there's a mad professor named Professor Baal who steals that technology. He wants to start his own apocalypse and be the god. And now the protagonist, the good characters, are coming back to fight him. So that's our base story. I'm going to work on something like a quick mock-up. You see in my background, I do a little sketching now and then to come up with the baseline story, origin story. And we're looking for a good writer that could connect with us and be on the same level to produce a storyline.
That's great. No, because it's all about character-driven stories, and then and just getting the setting right, and just driving the story based on how the character would respond. And that's cool that you have this unique lens to bring literally the biblical heroes to life in the future.
Yeah,
so it's really cool.
So the idea is, if David was back today, was it 2025, right?
Yeah,
and he's back, but he has a body of a robot. But he remembers beating Goliath. He remembers running away from Saul, King Saul. But he's here now. Wow, he sees 2025. How would he react? He's a man of faith. He's a man of great faith, right? And he would see what's going on today. So there's a lot of stories to be made.
Of course. Yeah, it's amazing. Are you familiar with Superbook? Because there's like a time traveling robot. I feel like this is like a fast forward of that in a weird way. It's
No.
it's like a kid show where like there's this robot Gizmo, and they just like, there's kids in the future, they time travel back to the biblical stories, and they just tell the biblical stories.
Oh. Well,
Yeah.
It's kind of like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures.
Exactly. It's exactly what it's like. Yeah. So, but it's just an interesting kids show. I don't think they have toys or anything, but like this is like an interesting play, but it's future forward, and it also is engaging, and the designs are cool, which is, I guess, it's the most important thing. I think we neglect, the church sometimes neglects the importance of cool art and cool design, and it's just really cool to bring the best of the best to do the work of, just to celebrate your talents and to bring it forward. And I'm so glad, like, just hearing your story, like how God used every part of your story to get you to this point. And that's really amazing to see.
That's a miracle in itself, And I mean, look, when you look at art, you just talked about art, right? The word art, it's very subjective, right? Some people love Picasso, some people hate Picasso, but there's a fan base of Picasso lovers. And like this is, some people don't agree this looks like a robot, but I think it looks like a great robot, right?
Yeah.
This is Goliath, right? In robot form. And we're hoping to have a fan base. We want a fan base. We want the story to be kind of out there. People know about it. If we have a decent fan base, we will have an animation company that would like to produce it. Maybe get it on Netflix. Maybe that'll turn into a live action movie with Paramount. I don't know. I'm just talking out loud, thinking out loud. I think the biggest goal, we're going to have figurine collectibles for sale. But if you can partner with and license it out to a big toy company eventually, that would be the ultimate goal, to get it out to all the world, get it to everybody. So the wish would be that every little product sold, every little David or a figure or an action figure made by Mattel or Playmates or what have you, they would also have the chip that you can put your phone and they can read the Bible. So as a mission to get the Bible stories out there of these inspirational heroes in the Bible, that people who've never heard of it could hear of it. Maybe get it to all the kids in Africa, right? But what I heard from somebody once is that a lot of countries that are like suffering and they're starving, they have phones, but they don't have food.
Yeah.
But it's sad, but everybody is connected somehow. But if we can get everybody to tap their phone, how great would it be to spread the Bible stories, and God can do the rest, right?
Yeah, and then it allowed the creativity of the people playing with toys to unleash, and that's a beautiful thing. One final question: if you had one message to share with the church, what would it be?
The church, yes. One message is, well, since I've really turned to God 12 years ago, I just been loving listening to a lot of sermons. Before that, just getting to one sermon was oh my God, I can't stand it. But now I'm listening to Greg Laurie. We listen to a lot of Erwin McManus on our podcasts and on television, on YouTube. And a lot of the things I've been really connecting with, the message that I've been connecting with was do things God size. What is God size? Okay, so I could have done any business. I could have said, hey, I want to manufacture this or I want to do that. It's all legitimate businesses. But to think that I wanted to do something like this where you need $1 billion to get the toys out there, it's almost like an impossible task to, I think, most people. But I feel like, you have to trust in him, and he can get you to a place where it wasn't you. It's 100% God. God put this timing together. God put Gloria in my life. God put this idea here. God, allowed me to go through the divorce and wait 12 years in the wilderness. and finally, here I am at Comic-Con showing these ideas that I think God really put into me. And, we're not there yet. We're just starting. But I have so much faith that this is something God-size. And, whatever little victories we accomplish or the big victory, people will know it's glory to God. Is that
Amen.
a message? Is that a message?
Yeah, no, God-sized dreams are so important, because he gets the glory for those.
Yeah, always.
Thank you, my friends, for tuning in to the end of this Christ-centered conversation. Have a great week, and thank you for watching 150 episodes of this program. God bless you, and remember to always stay caffeinated, my friends.